Next up, I'm going to go through the history of the championships, the Attitude Era collection. First off, it's that time of year. We're going to go through the holiday collection. Two releases, starting with, I think this one came out in 2005. Yeah, 2005. So, what this one is basically what it is. It was the first two times from Tribute to the Troops from 2004 and 2005 when they 2003, 2004 maybe even something like that. When they went to Baghdad for the first time and the second time. So, you do get a lot of content on this. This is a 6 hour, maybe it's only 4 hours, 4 hour runtime on this DVD, but it's got a lot of really good stuff on there. You get Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. You get Stone Cold talks to Benoit, and then you also get a lot of stories about the actual troops that are there. Sergeant James Duke, family story. Captain Jackie Huber, Sergeant First Class Petroni. So at least they do. You got Captain Michael Kepner. Just a lot of names that nobody would ever heard of, but at least they get their just due for the things that they're doing, and our guys and girls continue to do, holding it down in a very tough time. We talking earlier about damn, I can't get away from these glares. Talking earlier about a lot of countries that aren't. My mom said nobody's afraid of us. No countries are afraid of us, and I would have to disagree because otherwise we would be seeing things like 9/11 happening all the time. Our guys are literally holding it down in a time that it can't be done, and they are doing it. So this kind of stuff is just a little piece of anything of the appreciation that WWE can do, and it's nothing but my hat's off, literally, and to the troops. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do any of the things that we do. So, anyway, back to this. WWE travel into Iraq. You just Undertaker, Heidenreich. Basically, it's nothing more than a house show, but you do get a lot of different stories, a lot of different matches, moments, things like that. And if and like I said, this is a holiday DVD, so they only have two of them. Right now, this is one. And this one here is kind of a. This was like a silly release. This is drawn by Jerry the King Lawler, so this is actually kind of cool. Caricatures ring in the holidays, and what it is it's hosted by Mick Foley, and I don't understand how his daughter is so gorgeous, but you get about a 4 hour runtime here too, so you do get a lot of matches, and they're all Christmas and holidays related, obviously. You get like no holds barred street fights. You get a boiler room brawl, Mankind versus Santa Claus. Santa's Little Helper diva match. Bobby Heenan ruins Christmas. Primetime wrestling. I remember there being a Miracle on 34th Street fight. I think there's a couple of those actually. Miracle on 34th Street fight. Yeah, just different crazy stuff like that. Oh, and then what it is in between segments, he'll have like two or three matches, and then these two here, they're going through the North Pole in search of the real Santa Claus. So it's all right. It's definitely worth watching for half hour, 40 minutes at a time over the course of a couple days during the holidays. That's how I've done it. I watched it. We started it a couple days ago, and I'll probably throw it in again tonight. Maybe watch just a little bit and get through it. All right, now next up, if my favorite time in wrestling would have to be, I would probably say the 80s. Growing up, I would say it was probably when I was growing up through the 80s, early 80s, mid 80s, late 80s, early 90s. That is my golden era of wrestling, and I'll never take that back. I will definitely that will always be my favorite. I'll always love going back watching the first, 5 or 6, 7, 8 WrestleManias. it just doesn't get any better than that. But if there's a close second that does get a little bit probably better than that anyway, especially as far as what they were doing, it is this stuff. This cast of characters pretty much right here. What we got here is called 1997 Dawn of the Attitude. And what it is, it's actually really, really cool. It's a kind of a worked shoot style interview with you get Ron Simmons, you get The Godfather, you get Kane, Shawn Michaels, and Mick Foley. And they pretty much just sit around, and it's hosted by Renee Young, and they pretty much just sit around and talk about the year 1997 and what it did, basically what it did for the business. And it's pretty much, they go through these different things, evolution and transformation. Coming out of the, I would say the era that we were coming out of was the New Generation, it was called. And it was, to me, that was just boring. They were just continuing. That was when you had you had the trash man, you had the dentist, you had all that stuff. You had a hockey player. You had just all that. You had a clown. All that crazy, silly stuff that everybody that loved wrestling when they're 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, 10 years old like me was now 14, 15, 16. We didn't want to see that anymore. So they brought in this kind of new stuff. And it worked. And for me, I'll always say that the Attitude Era officially started, in my eyes, in the WrestleMania 13 match between Austin and Bret Hart. That was when the Attitude Era, to me, officially kicked off. You could say, a lot of times people say it was after Survivor Series, but that would come at the end of 97. So I would say definitely 97, they were definitely on the cusp. And by the time WrestleMania came, for sure. After that match, the Attitude Era was officially there, I thought. So you get that talk, a lot of storytelling, and then here it will literally go through the entire year, which is really cool. I wish that I could figure out how to get it. It does look kind of clear there. Let's see. I'm trying to get it to where it's clear, and eventually, by the time I get all these out there, we'll have it figured out. But all right, so we start at the Royal Rumble. I like this. I really love when you see stuff like this. Shotgun Saturday Night. You don't get too many clips from that stuff that didn't last very long. This is when British Bulldog wins the European Championship. It's the finals of the inaugural European Champion. Bret Hart, Psycho Sid, Steel Cage match for the WWE title. Raw, you get the Slammy Awards, Owen Hart speech, and then there it is, WrestleMania 13. So there's not really much that I would say. They just kind of wanted to kick it off at the beginning, so obviously. You get Bret Hart, Stone Cold, in a street fight from Raw, and then continuing with this too, this was awesome here. Jim Ross interviewing Mick Foley, Triple H winning his King of the Ring. What else we got? Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. It's just old school stuff there. Then you get One Night Only. It's pretty cool that they have that in there. British Bulldog and Shawn Michaels. There's a huge backstory for that. That's actually really cool that's in there. That match there, that's a whole different story altogether. But Shawn Michaels and the heat that he got for winning that match was just unbelievable. There it is again. Stone Cold stuns McMahon. That's the first time. Shawn Michaels and Triple H brag after Bad Blood. So it was after Shawn Michaels actually beat Undertaker. Kane and Mankind, Survivor Series, 97 obviously. And you get the Montreal Screwjob there, which is cool. And then after that, you get The Rock and Austin. So, yeah, and then you get Shawn Michaels and Triple H. So there is a ton of stuff, good content going on in 1997. I really wish they would have done more stuff like this. That's only two discs. What do we got here? This one, this two. Oh yeah, okay, I see. There it is. This 3. But I wish they would do more. Wish they would have done more specific years like that. I mean, that would have been really cool to just go through each year like that. I mean, I guess they kind of did pretty much anyway, dealing with they give you the best pay per view matches of the year. They gave you the best of Raw and SmackDown for the year. So I guess that's close enough. But well, I guess all they would do is just rehash another batch of stuff if they just tried to do any more. But all right, now technically, I think this DVD came after the Dawn of the Attitude one. Dawn of the Attitude come out in 2017. This one definitely came out before that. Probably, I'm guessing it was like 2015, 2012 even. Wow. So this was Volume 1, and that cover here is just legendary. I absolutely love this cover. So many different. Literally, it's every cast, every character you got from there. And if you see some that they don't have, well, guess what? You ain't gonna see too many because it's actually got two fold outs. These two pages here go together. Let's see if we can go like this. These two pages here go together. You know, and then you get the front. Open it up, and these are just, you get DX invading WCW. You get Bedpan McMahon paging Dr. Austin. And then The Rock, This Is Your Life. There's Yurple. Yurple showed up, I think, as the clown, and she showed up here too. I'm pretty sure, but maybe not. We get a little bit as far as the documentary goes. Not much. This is more like highlights and stuff, but the amount of stuff we get is really good. Jim Ross interviewing Goldust and Marlena. That was really good. I mean, he went off on Marlena, went off on his wife, and you know, it was cutting edge, especially for 97. It's so crazy that this stuff is over 20 years ago. Austin throws the Intercontinental title off the bridge, tells The Rock to go get it. Mankind gets the Hardcore title. What else we got here? The Jug Band. That's Edge and Christian. I know that. You know, you got Mike Tyson joining DX, so that's definitely a huge spot. Then after WrestleMania 14, this is when Triple H starts the new DX army. This is really cool too. Bart Gunn versus Dr. Death, Steve Williams. This Brawl for All was another thing that was just a whole story on its own. Started out with because people wanted to see JBL if he really was as tough as they thought. And then Dr. Death, Steve Williams, they brought him in and made this just so they would be able to have him win it and end up with Steve Williams and JBL in the finals, Bradshaw. And Bart Gunn knocked him out, so it screwed all that up. And as punishment for winning the Brawl for All tournament, Vince made him go fight Butterbean at WrestleMania, and literally that was it. He was never back in the ring in American soil after Butterbean just literally knocked his head off at WrestleMania 15. If you've never seen that, I mean, Jesus. Lions Den match, and then you get The Rock, the corporate Rock. That was huge there when he wins his first title. Austin in the beer bath. The debut of Y2J. So you got 2 discs so far with just great attitude stuff. Let's see what else we got down there. My daddy with the Big Show and the Big Boss Man. And you get the wedding of Stephanie McMahon and Andrew Test Martin, R.I.P. That's when Triple H comes out and says, "Sorry, Dad, I actually had her passed out in my car and married her in the drive-thru." So just great storytelling. Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, European title. And then TLC seems to show up all the time. 6-pack Hell in a Cell match. Just legendary. Rikishi flies off the top of Hell in a Cell. Ends up going through a big truck of hay, so it's a soft landing. But the guy weighs 1,000 pounds and he fell 50 feet off the air. So, I mean, that's pretty cool if you ask me. Then they came out with Volume 2. TWO and Classic Austin there. And I also noticed you got Austin here. And then you got literally the same exact picture there. And then, where the hell is it? And then the same, well, it just went flying, but whatever. And the same one on the Dawn of the Attitude. It's the same exact picture. They use it 3 times. Out of all the Stone Cold pictures they got, they couldn't get different ones. You need to use the exact same one here as you do on the spine, and it's the exact same one you used on the spine already. But whatever. Those are just those little things that are. I just sometimes just don't understand why they. You got to be that lazy, and then it just goes back through again all the way from 1997, and it goes down here until 2000. So those 3 years, I'd say that's pretty much it. You could go to now. You could go to 2001, two, and talk about the Attitude Era. I'd say, but not too much. Not too much past that. You do get pretty much they went right back through and just got whatever the next best moments are, and it worked out pretty good. You get a whole another batch of pretty good stuff, another 9 hours or so, I'd say. Oh, there's another Shotgun Saturday Night, a lot of Raw and SmackDown. You get Heat there. I think that halftime Heat may have been in that first set too, maybe not, I don't really remember. Sexual Chocolate. No, really, like super iconic stuff here. It seems like they probably had those main things in the first set. Weak stomach. I know they're talking about Gerald Briscoe here. They said that people tried to make him throw up literally all the time. This one turned out to just be unreal. WWE Hardcore Championship evening gown match between Gerald Briscoe and R.I.P. Pat Patterson. So that match was thinking it was just going to be hilarious, and it was, but it was actually pretty good stuff. So, and finally we get the Attitude Era, Volume 3. Now, this was one of the ones, too, unreleased. Anything that you see unreleased on is just, to me, like I keep saying, it's gold. Because you won't be able to find it in pay-per-views. You're not going to be able to find it in, anything but this. It says it's unreleased for a reason. And you're coming back through in these few years, and you're dealing with stuff that's going to be all dark matches and stuff along those lines. You got in Germany there. You got In Your House, non-televised. You got Kuwait, some stuff from Kuwait. You got Madison Square Garden a couple times there. You got a, non-televised, televised, stuff like that. You go to Sky Dome, Chainsaw Charlie debut. But everything you see here is going to be house shows, dark matches, just all that kind of stuff. So it's not going to have any commentary. It's not going to have anything like that. Most of the time, you're not going to see any big title changes or any huge storyline giant things. It's all going to be good. And a lot of times, those house shows, especially if you're a actual wrestling fan and you like the sports part of the sports entertainment, to me, this is the best stuff you're going to get, because that's what it's all focused on. So yeah, we're going to call this one just the holidays and the Attitude Era. Five releases, and yeah, so alright, that's this video. It's all done. Cool. These guys are going to be going back to the shelf, and maybe I'll take them out to play and get some fresh air here again, but not for a while. See you next time.